The biggest challenge has been historically integration. Today, in addition to the big challenge of system integration, there's a big challenge of integrating across disciplines, because regulatory requirements are now spanned across multiple disciplines. Regulators are much more attuned to not only the results of the reports that they're getting, but also how the process of creating this information that they're receiving works. We see the regulators are looking much more into what is behind those disclosures. So that translates into much more vigorous use of technology. We see the regulators around the world come to usage of high-end technology to deal with the requirements of disclosure. That includes XBRL usage in Europe and in parts of Asia. That includes communication on Basel Accord, where requirements for calculations and liquidity are being coordinated across the world among the different regulators. So if regulators are putting together such global infrastructure, shouldn't financial industry do the same? And this is where we feel that we can really help financial institutions with our wealth of subject matter expertise in the regulatory reporting, as well as technology and the knowledge of the industry in general, because we operate across the world. As I mentioned in my presentation, we only see just the beginning of the regulatory sort of tsunami. In my previous conferences, I compared it to tsunami. Now I see it more as an iceberg, because really we see only a portion that has evolved so far. I must tell you that every year we have this user conference, I'm getting more and more surprised how popular it gets. And of course, this year we had 150 people, which is a representation of about 30 different financial institutions. We had to split conferences into asset management and the others, because asset management in itself is a big growing regulatory tsunami. And with the introduction of a Dodd-Frank Act, we had a great attendance. Our client, Goldman Sachs, stepped forward to offer their venue to invite more than 30 financial institutions, asset managers, as well as regulators, came to the first event with almost 100 people attending. So our third user conference was overwhelming as well. We had it with Morgan Stanley. We had a great speaker with us, Ken Lamar, who described what Federal Reserve is doing to establish more controls and regulations that are upcoming. Regulations were covered not only for US financial institutions, but also for the foreign banks and foreign financial institutions in the United States. So we understand that the urge is there to establish much more robust regulatory disclosure and regulatory discipline. I've been told by some of our clients that they would like to meet with us more often, and they'd like to have forums on the specific topics. So we expect to establish more frequent workshop type meetings with our clients where we could address more in-depth solutions to various problems industry needs to address. This is an opportunity to help the industry to get the same level of global view and integrity that regulators are expecting.